Immerse yourself in the profound insights offered by Father Chuck Belmonte as he delves into daily reflections on various gospel passages from the Bible.
March 13th, Thursday. How should I receive communion worthily? Until the Lord comes, therefore, every time you eat this bread and drink this cup, you are proclaiming his death. And so anyone who eats the bread and drinks the cup of the Lord unworthily will be behaving unworthily towards the body and blood of the Lord. 1 Corinthians 11:26-27. The wedding garment. Our Lord said that the kingdom of heaven is like a king who held a marriage feast for his son. He sent his servants to call in those invited to the marriage feast, but they would not come. Again, he sent out other servants to invite the people, but they paid no attention to them. So the king punished those people. Then the king told his servants to gather all whom they could find and bring them to the marriage feast, because everything was ready. The king went in to see the guests. He saw there a man who had not put on a wedding garment, and he said to him, "How did you get in here, my friend, without a wedding garment?" The man did not know what to say, so the king said to his servants, "Bind him hand and foot and throw him out into the dark, where there will be weeping and grinding of teeth." Matthew 22:1-14. The king in this parable is, of course, God the Father. Jesus is the Son whose marriage feast is held, and he is wedded to his church. The marriage feast is specifically the sacrament of the Holy Eucharist, in which we receive him as food for our soul. Thereby we remain closely united to him as members of his church. We are invited to receive Holy Communion, but we must don a wedding garment, that is, we must be in the state of grace. To be in the state of grace means that we must always be free from mortal sin when receiving communion. So long as a person is not certain of having committed a mortal sin since the last confession, one is worthy to go to communion. But if anyone receives this sacrament in a state of mortal sin, he commits a grievous sin called sacrilege. If one has committed a mortal sin, it is not enough to make an act of perfect contrition before receiving Holy Communion. Indeed, an act of perfect contrition, sorrow for sin out of love for God, restores the soul to the state of grace. But how can one be sure that his act of contrition is perfect, or that his love of God is absolute? To protect everyone against the danger of self-deception in this matter, and to protect the Holy Eucharist against the danger of profanation, the law of the Church explicitly requires that if anyone knows for sure he has committed a mortal sin, he must go to the sacrament of penance before receiving Holy Communion. This law is always binding, even though one may be quite sure that he has perfect contrition for the sin. Saint Josemaria encouraged us to make spiritual communion, saying, "I wish my Lord to receive you with the purity, humility, and devotion with which your most holy Mother received you, with the spirit and fervor of the saints."
I would be delighted to extend an invitation to you once again tomorrow for another insightful reflection on the Gospel by Father Belmonte.